Today I've got a video on the Wuben X2. I've done some Wuben videos before, I think. Wuben, kind of cool name, Wuben. Anyway, the Wuben X2, and before I get into the light, I will say that their packaging is really kind of cool, definitely more unique than a lot of other lights out there. Small thing, because you're probably gonna throw the box out ultimately anyway, but just to show you the kind of cool packaging, there's the front, and then the sides, there's these little blue accents, some information on the back, but the box kind of clamshells open here to reveal the stuff inside. There's a little envelope with some instruction manuals, and then underneath that is the light and kind of everything it comes with. So really kind of cool packaging with this kind of clamshell design here. Nifty, neat idea. Anyway, the Wuben X2 is a little bit different light than I typically review. This is an EDC light, and it really has a very unique kind of chunky design to it, as opposed to a bunch of just one round LED and a round light. This is a flat rectangular square light, and it has three side-by-side LEDs up there in the front. This light comes in a couple of variations. It comes in a black, a white, or a white-blue gradient. The prices are different. The LEDs are actually different on them. And there seems to be a sale going on the Wuben website. I'm not sure if this is the fixed price or kind of a sale price. The black is currently $88, the white is $106, and the gradient, which at the time of this video is not going to be for sale for another month or two, is $118. So really not a cheap light for an EDC light, but it's kind of an interesting design, interesting features of this, and we'll get into that. There are two different LEDs that this can come with. The black one comes with an Osram P9, and the white one comes with a Samsung LH3510 LED. And those different LEDs have different brightnesses. The Osram P9 will go up to 2500 lumens, and the Samsung will go to 1800 lumens. The Osram P9 is a little bit cooler, low CRI LED, and the Samsung is going to be more of a high CRI 5000 lumen output. Now to show you the other two things that this comes with, it comes with this red rubberized cap with a Wuben logo on it, and that goes right on the end, and that enables you to use this in the dark as a red light, save your night vision type thing. There's also the lanyard, and the lanyard is a really interesting design for several reasons. Really interesting here. So first of all, the lanyard as a lanyard is really nice quality. The material of it, compared to just those regular nylon-y cord lanyards, really nice feeling material. And on the inside of it, there is a ruler in centimeters that goes from 0 to 80 centimeters. Now on the tip here, there is a small loop that you can loop through the flashlight, and then you can either unclip the lanyard right here, or here's the extra fancy part of this lanyard. When I initially opened this box, I thought, well, this is a USB-C rechargeable light, but this doesn't come with a cable like every other light, which I don't need a cable. I have a million USB-C cables, but here's the fanciness of the lanyard. You release this button right here, and the lanyard pops out, and the lanyard is a charging cable, USB-A to USB-C. Wow, that is a neat design. That is really neat. So the lanyard then opens up and it becomes a ruler, 80 centimeters, because initially I thought, well, how do you measure something from around? But this opens up into an 80 centimeter ruler, and it's a charging cable. Extra fancy lanyard. Go Wuben. Some innovative designs there. I'm not a lanyard type, but that's really cool. Now looking at the light itself with the construction of it, it is a square, chunky aluminum light. This one weighs in at 4.2 ounces, 120 grams, which is a little bit heavier than they advertise. They advertise 4.06 ounces, 115 grams. On my scale, it was just a little bit heavier. And I will say this is a chunky, really kind of heavy light for an EDC light made out of this aluminum. There's a pocket clip there, and the pocket clip is removable. There's a couple screws there if you want to take that off and just use it with the lanyard. Otherwise, you put it back on. The pocket clip has kind of a steep point down there, so it is going to hold it securely in your pocket, but I have seen some complaints about getting it into your pocket over what could be a slightly more rounded pocket clip under clip area right there. Then on the head, there is this button, this flipper that flips up, and that reveals the charging port. When this is down, that keeps that charging port protected and covered from dust and things like that, but then you flip it up, and it reveals the charging port under there. As it's charging, this little light below it will light up red. When it's fully charged, it will change to blue. That light also acts as a power indicator when the light is on. to get an idea of what the charging percentage of this is. So kind of neat design there. I like the way this flips up and flips down, and the pressing this button is really, it's a very comfortable kind of neat feel again compared to other lights. Now when you get the light, it is in lockout mode. So to get it out of lockout mode, you 4-click the button, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to bring the light on. And then on off, you just click it on and off. Now the user interface of this light, if you have other flashlights and you're familiar with modern lights, is going to be very familiar to you. But again, this light has some interesting stuff built into it that other lights do not have. So you long press it, it comes on to the low mode, and then you hold it down, low, medium, high, cycles between those. From any mode, you double click, gets you to turbo, double click again, gets you back off. From on, triple click, gets you to strobe, triple click again, gets you into an SOS. Now here's some interesting stuff on the user interface for this light. Some people like a really low output, a moonlight mode for the low mode. Some people like something brighter. Again, it just depends on your needs. So this light, within each of the 3, low, medium, high, has adjustable brightnesses. The low can go from 5 to 100, the medium can go from 100 to 400, and the high from 400 to 800. To set those, you turn it on to a brightness, and then you double click it, and it will start brightening up. When it gets to the top, it'll flash, double click again, and it will go down. And you can set it, each of those modes, to any individual setting within each of those. If you want to reset it to the factory settings, you lock the light, 4 clicks. The light will flash a couple times, it's now locked, and then you do a single, a double, and a triple click all within a half second of each other. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and the light will come on, and it signals you that it has reset back to the factory specs. Because this light has 3 LEDs next to each other, you would think that it puts out kind of an oblong rectangle beam pattern, which it does to a degree, but for your immediate use in front of you, you don't really notice that. If you were to turn the light sideways, you can see the difference between the kind of the shape of the LED, but when you're looking at stuff out in front of you, that beam pattern is fine because it doesn't really matter if it's an oblong or a long or a square beam pattern, but you can kind of see the difference. But it doesn't matter round versus square for an everyday use. Now that said, also these LEDs are in a shallow orange peel reflector, so this is very much a floody light. This is not a thrower, it's not going to light up a long distance away. This is an EDC light, both in the function and in the brightness and in the beam pattern, and it's going to function as such. The power on this light comes from 2 built-in 14500 batteries. That's essentially 2 AA batteries built into this, and it is 2000 milliamp hours total. So pros and cons of this light. I've carried this around. It is a really neat light. I really like the design of it. It's definitely different and more unique from your average everyday round standard everyday carry light. Some downsides, I will say, some people may be annoyed by the fact that the batteries are built in. They're not easily replaceable. There are some screws on the back here, so I do wonder that if the batteries got beat down as far as recharging goes, you could take that off and replace them. But as an everyday light, you're not going to be able to easily swap out the batteries. But also me, as an everyday light, I'm not using this for long periods of time. I'm using it for 10 or 20 seconds here and there, so that's not going to be a big deal for me, the batteries. Because the light is this square, chunky design, I found that in the pocket with a pair of jeans, it is a bit chunky in there. So it's larger than a typical EDC light that I might carry, depending on, again, what kind of pants you're wearing. If you're wearing something tighter, I will say it is a little bit less comfortable in your pants. Something looser, like some tactical pants, probably not going to be as big of a deal. Also, because it's made of aluminum, it's kind of heavy. I wonder how this would be if it was made by some type of polycarbonate material. I'm not sure how that would affect the durability, but it would certainly be a lot lighter. At 4.2 ounces, it is a bit of a heavy light. All in all, though, really cool light from Wuben. I really like the design. Again, those other things notwithstanding, it's a neat design. The triple LED is kind of a cool thing. The user interface, also pretty cool. The lanyard with its design where it comes apart and becomes a power charging cable and ruler. Pretty cool. And then you can put this on for some save your eyes in the dark red light. So really neat light from Wuben. Check this out. This is the Wuben X2.